Hello YouTube. It is I, Rita Lopez. Today is another topic for discussion, continuation about talking about coworkers and things that you can do to diffuse the situation, to get away from a high intensity situation so that you can take time and be thoughtful to work through the issue. There's different ways to deal with people. Some of the best approaches, though, are to always try to remain calm, always remain in a professional state of mind when responding to a coworker, particularly coworkers who are trying to antagonize you or who are easily frustrated, easily engaged into an emotional state. So if they have several things on their plate, some people don't deal with it well, and they can suck you in and pull you into an instance of confrontation. So the goal is to avoid unnecessary confrontation. Look, there are times when something happens in the office that you're going to have to deal with, but you're always going, and sometimes you're going to have to confront somebody, but you're always going to want to maintain a professional demeanor when discussing a situation that needs to be addressed. I find it best to take a few days after an instance happens. I don't like to pull in the managers. Although one, that's what they're there for. They are the manager. They should be a resource to help you resolve problems. But at the same time, at this point in our lives, particularly for women who are over 40, you want to have a certain amount of ability to communicate with people even when the communication is unpleasant. Your work environment is a place where you spend a third of your life, so you always want to, as much as possible, have a pleasant experience. So learning how to communicate, learning how to diffuse, learning how to choose the right time to talk to someone are very important tools. So you have a toolbox over here. You want to fill your toolbox with useful information. You want to be able to go to your toolbox, and you want to also not react or respond to someone else's behavior, because sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. People may not be aware, and a lot of times we become defensive. So as soon as you become defensive, you're already antagonized, you're already upset, you're already for a battle, and you're all ready to present your case. But a lot of times what you have to do is you have to pick and choose things that are important to battle about. Sometimes you win a battle, but you don't win the war. And so if you want to win the war, sometimes you have to realize that some battles you should leave alone. You should accept the loss and just go on. And sometimes it's not really a loss, but it's just you picking and choosing things that are significant to you to make your experience at work positive. Things that I use when something goes awry and somebody is upset. Don't get me wrong, there have been times when somebody can engage me and immediately I know the things that could come out are inappropriate. I'm responding with the sounds, the body language, and immediately my dead giveaway is that I turn red from the neck up, as soon as I become emotional, as soon as I'm feeling overwhelmed, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter if I'm angry, sad, happy, mad, it doesn't, well, it's not really happy, but any level of upset, immediately I will turn beet red, so people can read it on my face. So I have to learn how to control that. I have to learn how to disengage. I have to learn to put that person in another place at that time when I'm upset. And then I write things down. I write down what happened, and I also try to figure out what were they doing, what did it really mean? Because sometimes something that happens as a response is a symptom of something else. So somebody may say something indicating that they're frustrated or upset, or they are annoyed with you. And I have some examples, but I want to be cautious because for instance, if you are in a close office setting and several people are in the same location, if somebody's tapping their pen, or if somebody talks loudly on the phone, or if somebody taps their foot, or if somebody uses a fan. I've had fans be a problem in the past because I'm warm, so I like to have a fan. So sometimes people have made a big deal out of me having a fan at my desk, and it's not a big roaring fan. It's a little 10-inch, 8-inch fan. It's not very big. But some of those issues are a result of the person's feeling stress, the person's feeling inept, or that I had this happen when I just started a position. So they're not feeling at home or at ease in their place. And so sometimes they project some of that on you because they want you uncomfortable. Not necessarily that they want you uncomfortable, but they're definitely feeling that you're the one creating their discomfort. So immediately they're going to push discomfort in your direction. So what you have to learn to do is redirect it, or just get out of the way of it. Sometimes I find, and I hope I'm not talking in circles, but sometimes I find that removing myself from the room, go do something else, just try to always stay at even keel, not allow somebody to get under my skin, and taking some time to write it down. What happened? What could I do? What could I say? What was the real intent behind what was said? Is it something I can let go, or is it something I have to address? I'm going to review this video, but I'm thinking that as women, we want to, first of all, empower ourselves so that we can find better ways to respond to each other. Two, power doesn't necessarily mean controlling other people. But power, you can take back all your power by controlling your environment, by controlling what initiates, what keeps you calm. You can control all those triggers within your environment, but you always have to be in the present, in the state of mind of that this is what you're doing. You have to be aware of what you're doing. It's like navigating, it's like taking a boat through a course, when you're in the ocean and you're following the buoys. There's a certain way that you have to go so that you don't hit any sandbars. Well, it's the same way in the office. You have to learn skills that will allow you to navigate those waters and to make them as pleasant as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some office environments where everybody is like-minded, everybody gets along really well, and they're like a family, they're very close-knit. This doesn't, in my experience, it doesn't happen as often as I would like to see it happen. And you don't have to feel like you're family with the people that you work with. But you do have to be able to get along with them. You do have to be able to communicate. You do have to be able to discuss disagreements. And there has to be some way to clarify the structure of the office. You have to make sure that there's a place where you can go and discuss situations that arise with coworkers. With your manager is the best place to go, but that's not always that's not always an option. So these are some ideas, and I'm really interested to hear what you say. Any feedback will be really appreciated. And I am going to keep working on this. I'm also going to be working on developing my skills and giving my presentation, or giving my few minutes of navigating the waters in the office environment for women, but for men as well, but women in particular. I just think that we need to learn how to communicate better with each other. And there's all types of different personalities, but there isn't really any reason why we shouldn't be able to get along. I don't like when people label, she has a strong personality, she has this, she has that. A strong personality doesn't necessarily mean you're difficult. Being confident doesn't make you difficult. Being capable doesn't make you difficult. These are qualities that an employer and manager wants in a position, in a role. But you have to also learn how to be soft. Make your presence a little softer and go a little bit easier with people. There are some people, though, who will railroad you, so then you have to learn how to navigate those waters with them as well. But like I said, taking a step back, trying to see where they're coming from, also trying to evaluate whether this is a battle that you really have to engage with. Oh, one of my other tips is this. If you have monthly staff meetings or quarterly staff meetings, some of the issues, if you have difficulty discussing or asking for information from another coworker, use that arena. It's a professional, it's neutral ground, the manager is there, all the support staff is there, typically all the staff is there. So any questions, any clarifications that need to be done, do it in that arena. That way it's non-confrontational. Don't ever use a person's name. Turn everything into a question. As a matter of fact, even when you drug into a confrontation, ask questions. Don't make statements. Don't explain anything, particularly if you're upset. Just ask questions. Try to get to what the problem is, but don't put your neck on the chopping block. So anyway, these are my tips for today, and I look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully you will find this information useful and helpful, and that soon your work environment will become a pleasant one, and you'll be looking forward to going to work, and you'll have a set of skills that you can use in navigating the office waters. That's from Jones. Thank you.